What the fuck is up, you guys? Welcome to the first ever video on my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be going through my dream UFC blunt rotation. Before we dig into this list, let me just state a few things. There can only be 5 people in this rotation. We all know that a rotation can't have too many people in it. We all need to get our fair share here. So for that reason, I've only picked 5 people, which is still a lot. Obviously, including myself, we're gonna be 6. There's gonna be, a few characters in this rotation, but I've selected them, for different reasons, as I'll get into later. But I think they all contribute something unique and special to this blunt rotation, which, if it were to ever happen, I would be more than excited. I would be there, no matter what. So without further ado, let's get into this list. Starting off this list, I've gone with none other than Nathan Diaz. I know what you're thinking. I'm not surprised, motherfucker. Well, obviously he was going to be in there. Nate Diaz, he's a pioneer in the MMA community when it comes to marijuana. He's always seen smoking a little gibber. He's not afraid to show it. We've even seen him pull it off at press conferences. Maybe not in the UFC, but, he's really about that life. Obviously, I could have picked other Nick. They're interchangeable, but me personally, I'm gonna go with Nate Diaz here. And when it comes to him being in the rotation, we can imagine, we can speculate what he would be like. As some of us know, he may be on the spectrum. So he's a little shy, he's a little quiet, but he has a certain demeanor about him that will make sure that no fucking bum at this rotation will be fucking chiefing the gibber for too long, okay? He'll just Stockton slap him. Now, obviously, Nate Diaz is going to be the guy who's going to bring the goods. That is also why he is an essential for my dream blunt rotation, as I imagine that this guy is smoking some good stuff, some real good shit, and he's going to make sure that the whole rotation is smoking that good shit with him. Now, moving on to the next pick. Second person in my dream blunt rotation is Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell. Now I know what you're thinking, some of you at least. This is a bit of a wildcard pick, and I can agree with that, as we are obviously not too familiar with Bryce Mitchell and THC. It might be quite a combo, but I would love to see it in person. That's why he's in my dream rotation. The thing about Bryce is, as I can imagine, in this rotation, once you're taking a few hits, people start talking a bit, I want to hear what he has to say. I want him to tell me about the firmament and explain to me why the earth is flat, which I already believe it is, because that's what I see with my own eyes. I don't know about y'all, but obviously my eyes, I'm gonna trust my eyes over some fucking edited NASA picture. But also, drop this in the comments below, guys. Do you think you came from monkeys? Because I know sure as hell I didn't. And I want to hear him explain it even further. But obviously I already know I didn't come from fucking monkeys. So, also, he's a funny guy. He's a bit of a unintentionally funny guy. He's like Theo Vaughn. He reminds me of him a lot. Very similar. Proper country boys. He'll have some stories to tell that'll make the whole gang crack up, So, moving on to the next person in my dream blunt rotation. Moving further down my list, we've got Conor, the notorious McGregor. He just had to be in there. I mean, anyone who's a fan of the sport is gonna want to have Conor in their fucking dream blunt rotation, unless they're a crotch sniffing bum or a Muslim. But yeah, and Conor, let's say Nate Diaz forgot the goods. As we went over, he's probably gonna bring it. Let's say he forgot it. It's gonna be a red panty night anyways, because Conor's bringing the fucking gas, okay? Now, Conor just had to be in my dream blunt rotation for so many reasons, He's my fucking idol, guys. Who doesn't have Conor as their idol? Just look at him. He's him. He's gonna be puffing, he's gonna be passing, blocks the bleeding head over here, okay? So you better pass that shit along, okay? Or he'll sleep you. He'll be giving financial advice, he'll just be given knowledge, you know, or he won't. But anything he says to me is knowledge, okay? And also, you know, Roadhouse premiere, I will be there no matter what, okay? But you know, just to keep it short and sweet, Connor, he's the notorious one for a reason. He just had to be in my dream blunt rotation. Yeah, Connor, if you're seeing this, like, I'm down to fight, bro. Like, just hit me up. I'm moving on. Coming in at the 4th spot in my dream blunt rotation, we've got Georges St-Pierre, GSP. Okay. Now, some of you may not agree with this pick, as you know, he's a bit of a timid guy, doesn't say too much, but he's very kind, like all Canadians, and very, you know, forgiving. But the reason I picked GSP here is just for my own preference, you know, like when the people start chatting, he's gonna be dropping some knowledge, like a few of the other guys in this list. You know, first of all, he knows the intricacies, the fucking intricacies, or whatever you say, about the sport. He knows it all. If you have any questions about that, he'll tell you, you know, in a very soothing manner. But even more so, why I put him on this list is, you know, the big picture you see here in the middle, the aliens. You know, he's had some comments himself on the Joe Rogan podcast about, you know, him falling asleep in his car, you know, falling asleep, but really he was abducted by aliens, you know. It's a pretty believable scenario, to be honest. Like, that shit can happen to anyone, and I just want to hear more about it, you know. And also, don't even get me started on his hobbies, you know. Like, once he starts talking about the dinosaurs, the pantheology, or whatever that shit is called, I want to hear about it, you know. Tell me about the T-Rex, bro. Like, would you fuck up a T-Rex alone, you know? Can you put a T-Rex in a leg lock? We need to know more about this. That's why he's in my dream blunt rotation. And also, you know, I don't think he's gonna chief that shit. He's just gonna hit it with precision. He's gonna hit the gibber smoothly, precisely, not leaving a single fucking smudge of gas to be wasted. Now, let's move on to the final addition to my dream blunt rotation. Last but definitely not least, in my dream blunt rotation, I want Johnny Walker to be there. Now, earlier I said that Bryce Mitchell was a bit of a wild card pick, but as you can see on the screen right in front of you, this is a real wild card pick. Johnny Walker, you know, he used to use THC at a point in his life a few years ago. He said for 3 years. And as you can see in this big caption, THC made him paranoid about aliens. Now, while some of you may be a bit unencouraged about this statement, for me it serves the opposite purpose. I want to hear more about these aliens, Johnny Walker. What was it that was making you so paranoid about them? You know, first of all, Johnny Walker's a funny guy. You know, the Instagram page, the memes, all of that, it's all popping off for him right now. He's a fan favorite. You know, always smiling, funny guy. I want him to be in the rotation. You know, we also, like, speaking of being a wild card, he takes one hit, he might not even know where he is. He might think he's in the desert again, okay? So we really don't know what we're going to be getting with Johnny Walker in the rotation. But we'll be getting something at least. Probably a few laughs, you know. He might just start doing the fucking worm or something. But mainly I want to hear more about these aliens and what made you so scared of them. Alright you guys, that concludes my list of my dream UFC blunt rotation. Let me know in the comments below, who would you have in your dream UFC blunt rotation? And before I end my first ever YouTube video, I would just like to make a public call out to Lucas Tracy. You know, this guy, let me tell you, Lucas, I would manhandle you, okay? Octagon, ring, doesn't matter. Any time, any place, I will take care of business, you know? So You might not accept this call out today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the next week, but one day, kid. Leave a like, subscribe, make sure you drop the comment. See you guys in the next one.